Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to episode 2 of the Spoken Speaker series. League of Michigan Bicyclists is very happy to welcome our speakers today. Marco Speeks from Major Taylor Metro 313 Cyclones, Ted Sliwinski from Metropolis Cycles, Dan Harrison from Ann Arbor Bicycle Touring Society, and Pat Kelley from the Tri-County Bicycle Association. We have a lot to do and a lot to talk about today. So without too much further ado, I want to pass it off to, first I want to let you all know that we are recording this session and we will post the recording afterwards. Please keep yourself on mute for now. If you have questions, please put them into the chat box. We'll have each of our presenters give their segment and then we'll come to questions at the end. So the purpose of this session is to learn more about the resources that are available to all of you from local bicycle clubs and shops. And to start us off, we have Marco.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Marco Speeks. I represent Metro 313 Cyclones Major Taylor. That's a long name. I'd like to start with a prologue, an introduction. Then I will go into a short PowerPoint presentation, a slide deck. Welcome to the transformative power of cycling. Cycling transforms the mind, body, and state of being. The mission pillar of any cycling club worth its salt is to foster an environment that amplifies this transformation. Ancient African wisdom in Butu states, I am because we are. I am because we are. I'm a cyclist because we cycle together. Put another way, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. There's no greater example of this principle in cycling than when cyclists riding in formation create a slipstream, mitigating headwinds and carrying individual cyclists faster and farther than they could otherwise cycle alone. Ubuntu. We at Major Taylor endeavor to create a slipstream fit for our namesake, Marshall Walter Major Taylor, who at an early age, empowered by the transformation of cycling, overcame inequities on and off the bike. We endeavor to foster an environment that creates global outcomes worthy of his legacy. If you will, we can start the PowerPoint presentation with the first slide. We at Major Taylor are both formal and informal. Over the last 10 years, next slide, please, we have organized rides throughout the metropolitan area. In fact, we're celebrating our 10th year this year with a 10-year anniversary ride, capping at the end of the season with an end of the year dinner. Our signature ride, Pedals and Passports, is in Canada that we do every year. Next slide, please. If you would like to learn more about our club, you can go to our website, majortaylordetroit.com, and you can click on About Metro 313 Cyclones to read more specifics about our club. Next slide, please. Before there was Jack Johnson, before there was Jackie Robinson, before there was Joe Lewis, there was Major Taylor. He won the World Championship in cycling way back in 1899. And that is the legacy today for which Metro 313 Cyclones exists. To create, as I mentioned earlier, an environment that will establish cycling as an everyday part of our lives. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
Sorry, one sec. It's
No.
there we go.
As you can see, these are pictures of some of the rides that we organize. Uh, these are from rides in the metropolitan area, our signature Pedals and Passport, which is in Canada. We ride together in different groups depending upon skill level. Next slide, please. And preference. Our goal is to create a cycling family to be a small but important part of the cycling ecosystem. As I stated in my prologue, it is important to understand that while cycling is an individual activity, it is optimized by riding together. You will gain more benefits in cycling as a group. There are different disciplines in cycling from touring, urban riding, track racing, mountain biking, cyclocross. Whereas we are recreational, we do have members who engage in all those activities. And if you're interested in any of those disciplines, being a member of our club or any cycling club that engages in those disciplines will allow you to be able to learn those activities and gain experience and training. For example, right now, every Saturday and Sunday on Belle Isle, we are holding a training series to prepare for the season and also to prepare for a ride in which we are training the participants. It's a cross collaboration I created with Black Leaders Detroit. They're to train their participants who are going to ride from Detroit all the way to Mackinac Island. Part of that training includes bicycling education, maintenance, safety, how to learn how to ride in pace formations. So we're combining the outreach and advocacy with the training in this program. Once again, it's every Saturday and Sunday on Belle Isle. You can go to our website and look at our calendar for weekly rides. We have rides throughout the week at various levels from A to D. A being if you want to travel, over 20 miles per hour. D, if you're interested in riding, I liken it to an ice cream social. I don't know, 8-10 miles per hour. So we offer, depending on your interest, what discipline of cycling, or if you want to learn, if you want to attend workshops, if you want to learn about cycling, the history, and how to maintain your bike and how to ride in a pace line and so forth. We offer access to gaining experience and learning those activities and gaining competence in those areas. In fact, last Sunday at our training on Belle Isle, there was a cyclist. Well, I'm going to call her cyclist now. She drove up. She didn't have a bike, didn't own a bike. In fact, she texted me about if we offer rentals. Well, we don't offer rentals, but on Belle Isle, there is Mogo, which is a service where you can rent a bike if you have the app and a smartphone. So I invited her to come out and I said, go ahead and rent a bike and ride with us. So she came out, she rented the Mogo, and I tried to convince her before we started to take a serious interest in looking to buy a bike. She told me that she just wanted to come out and support the cause, the Ride for Equity, and she wasn't interested in cycling beyond just being on the island with us for a few minutes. But by the end of the ride, she fell in love with cycling. She told me and everyone else there that she was going to go out and buy a brand new bike and come out and join us. So for me, my job was done. We converted someone from being a non-cyclist, had no interest in cycling, to someone who's going to make a serious investment of money and time because she fell in love in that limited exposure. Next slide, please. So these are all the points of contact. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach us on social media, as you can see, from Zwift, Strava, Facebook. We have an email address there, a telephone number, and snail mail. And our web address is majortaylordetroit.org. If you have any questions, you want to learn more about us, or just monitor our activities, we post our rides, videos. If you want to just watch us before so you can see what we're doing, where we are, and come out and join us, these are the ways in which you can contact us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Marco. Really appreciate it. Our next speaker is going to be Ted Sliwinski of Metropolis Cycle. And folks who have questions for Marco, please put them in the chat, and we'll come back to questions after all four of our presenters have had a chance. Ted.
Yeah, thank you so much. My name's Ted Sliwinski. I own Metropolis Cycles, specifically the one that has opened fairly recently in Ferndale, just north of Detroit city limits. We are an independent bicycle dealer, so what that means is we are privately owned by myself and my family, and not as REI, Track, Specialized, anything like that. There's many IBDs throughout the state of Michigan that I'm very proud to say are still pushing this industry and this culture forward in a positive manner. What we do as IBDs, and specifically Metropolis Cycles, is we push really hard to create a open and welcoming environment for every level of cyclist, whether that's someone just trying to jump on a cruiser bike, ride with their kids, up to elite cyclists, triathletes, crazy mountain bikers, all sorts of stuff. And here at Metropolis Cycles, I personally have over 25 years experience. We have great staff with us to have the knowledge and know-how and kind of time and everything to really break down people's needs in the industry and what they're looking for, and really help them to every degree that we possibly can. As far as group rides go, we get a lot of people through here looking to either get into group rides or find a group ride around, and we try to connect with as many organizations as we can. We currently don't have a group ride out of this store location. There is a Monday night ride out of our Detroit location in Corktown that is kind of evolves through COVID to do its own thing. It just shows up. The roads are public, so nobody's going to stop them from doing whatever they want. But up here, we really try to just work with people to find what their level is, what they're doing, what rides they love to do, and find the right gear, bike, fit, all sorts of stuff, so we can really help people gain the knowledge they need to go out and just enjoy cycling to their utmost degree. Our kind of short and brief mission statement is butts on bikes, right? Like, the more human beings, especially kids, we can get on bikes to enjoy cycling and love being outdoors and just either ride alone or ride together or anything. It's just very important to us. And that goes for most IBDs out there, right? Like, our passion, because I'll be blunt, there's not much money into being an IBD owner. Our passion really is, how can we help people get out there and create, whether it's kind of specialized problem solving that maybe your corporate store won't really have access to or knowledge to do, and things like that. We have a lot of first timers come through our shop. We have a lot of people that don't even know where to begin, or maybe have ridden a Mogo is a great example, or things like that, as well as adaptive cycling is something that we do a lot with. Through Mogo is actually a great resource if you're looking for something that's not necessarily a traditional two-wheel bicycle. And that makes us really proud that we can work with people that may not traditionally be able to just go to a bike shop, jump on a bike, ride it around, say this is great, and leave. They may have some other challenges, balance issues, other things that we really pride ourselves on being able to help with. In Ferndale, we are poised at a very interesting physical location. We're right on the border of Detroit, right on 8 Mile. So we pull from a very wide group of cyclists, whether that is you know, your fancy people riding Thursday Night Thunder at 25 miles an hour way up in Birmingham, whether that's, the guys from Soul Roll down in Eastern Market. Like we kind of pull from everyone and really pride ourselves on being able to work with every single person that walks through our door. So mine's not quite as robust and amazing as what Marco's crew has been doing for years and decades, but we are a resource that hopefully everybody can come and find, and we can help you get on your bike and make you as happy as possible.
Ted, where are you located?
So the new shop is on Livernois, just north of 8 Mile. So literally 2 blocks north of 8 Mile. So just a little bit north of what they now call the fashion district. That is,
yeah. And if people come to your shop and see a bike they love, is there a nice little test ride they can do nearby?
Oh yeah, the neighborhood up here is very quiet, and there's also an amazing protected bike lane right on Livernois in front of our store. So there's plenty of places you can go to try stuff out and enjoy any type of bike that we can get you on.
And how would you describe like the general vibe of your store when someone walks in?
As welcoming and as chill as we can possibly manage. Sometimes on a busy Saturday, we're running around a little nuts, but if I didn't say hello to you, I apologize. But that is our goal, is to just make sure everybody feels as comfortable as they can and as welcome to open as many questions to us as they possibly want.
Wonderful. Ted, any final comments before we move on to the next presenter?
No, I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Ted. Our next speaker is Dan Harrison of the Ann Arbor Bicycle Touring Society. And I have some slides for Dan as well. Dan,
hello, everyone. And I'm Dan with the AABTS, and I'm happy to be here. This is a great presentation so far, and it's going to be hard to keep up with the first two speakers, but I'll try. Our club, and we go to the next slide here. Our club was founded in 1977 in Ann Arbor. We've been around for a long time. We've got many, many members over the years. Our membership right now is down to about 250 people. We put on an event ride every year. It's our big event. One of the other speakers will tell you they put on several events, I believe. Ours is one hell of a ride. It used to go to Hell, Michigan every year, and now we go to Stockbridge because it's a little better roads out there. But we ride near Hell. It's one of the things there. It's been going on for 46 years. It's the second Saturday in July. We have over 200 volunteers. We only have 250 members, but 200 are working on Hell of a Ride. So that's one of the cool things. And people like to volunteer and participate with other people, even if they're not bikers. So it's a fun thing to do. And that's some of the social aspects of being in a bike club. And so our club, we have a ride calendar. We have up to 3 rides every day of the riding year. Before COVID, we had many, many rides, and we're getting back up there now. And that's one of the things we're trying to do. We get new people and new riders and non-members show up for our rides. You don't have to be a member of our club to be in the ride. We do require, let's see, we have a Saturday morning breakfast ride, which is one of the fun ones for new people because you can join that ride, and we follow the Huron River and ride bike trails and roads, and we wind up in Chelsea, Michigan, where there's our favorite coffee shop that people gather at on the corner, and not only just our members and our part of our organized ride, but many other rides will be there as well. Our club provides bike racks there for everyone to use. And so it's kind of a destination, and people like wind rides like that. We have other regular rides every day of the week or many days of the week. I lead a Friday ride that follows the Huron River as well and takes more bike trails. And it's really good for new people to find out what cycling's about and how to do that. Let's go to the next slide, if you would. And this is just a copy of the April ride calendar. And our rides are coded A, B, and C, much like Marco's rides are, I think. And I encourage new people to come out to C or B ride first and not start out on an A and see what it's all about. And so let's go to the next slide. Our club has a long history, and we wanted to give people incentives to ride and do things more. And we give an annual mileage patch out every year if you do 500 miles. So new people, they really work hard to get those 500 miles. And it's kind of an incentive. And that's what it's all about. It's just trying to get you to get out there and do things, exercise, and enjoy the cycling community. After we did that, we started doing lifetime patches. Well, we'll do 5,000 miles. Every 5,000 miles, give a patch. And next thing you know, people got 100,000 miles. And we gave a jersey. Pretty soon, probably in the next couple of weeks, we'll have our 14th member to reach 100,000 miles over their lifetime. So some of these guys have been doing it for several years. So it's not uh, huge amounts of miles every year, but it's quite a few. We're starting to do more things for ride leader incentives, and what we really need is ride leaders to get more rides out there. And so we're doing different things and doing things that other clubs have told us to do, like offer free membership if you lead 20 rides a year. So a weekly ride, if you lead a ride every Friday, say, it's pretty easy to get 20 rides in. We do socials several times a year, so it's kind of a touring society, and in the sense that we're more social, not racing. We have an ice cream ride, we have a pizza party ride, we have an OHR volunteer party, we have a potluck, and we have a holiday banquet. So those things have all worked well for us. Again, we're still trying to get more people to join our club and more younger people. So that's one of the things we're working on. So next slide, please. Here's some of the awards I talked about. And if you look in the center here, there you get a different bicycle part for every 5,000 miles. And then the 50,000 mile was a chain ring. And that was supposed to be the final. And I don't want to belabor this too much, but I'm really impressed by this certificate down the corner. One person in our club has ridden 250,000 miles. And he started like, I think in 1994 or so. And the interesting thing is he's on the same Trek bicycle. I think he should tell Trek how many people have ridden a Trek bicycle 250,000 miles, and it's not a high-end Trek. It's a regular bicycle. So I'm just really impressed with that. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So for non-members, how do we reach out to the community? How do we get these people to join our club or join our rides even? Well, aabts.org is our website. We have Facebook pages both for AABTS and for OHR. We have brochures, which are nice, and the business cards. Younger people, I don't think, are into cards and brochures as much, but it's nice to walk in the bike shop and see our brochures right there on the counter. We go to special events and other bicycle ride events and talk about our club. One of the key things that we have an advantage of here in Ann Arbor is this Ann Arbor Observer, which is a monthly newspaper, and they have a great civic calendar, and they put our rides in there. And so people look at that and show up for our rides. Many of our members found the club by starting with the Ann Arbor Observer. Again, we have our website, and you can email us. And we also participate in community events. I think on May 15th here in Ann Arbor, the city is putting on, if I can pronounce this right, Bike-a-Palooza, and we'll have a table there as well. And it's going to celebrate the different things Ann Arbor has done to improve cycling within the city limits and encourage people to get out on their bikes and do everyday tasks and not just jump in their car. So other things we do when new riders show up for a ride, all are welcome. You don't have to be a member of our club to join, but you do have to sign a waiver and you have to have a helmet. And we like to say you have to be able to fix a flat, but generally new riders, we're there and we'll fix flats. I remember when I first joined the club, I was not very good at fixing flats, but I started leading C rides for the beginners, and I got to fix flats a lot as a rider, and now I have no problem personally fixing flats. So it's just a fun thing to do, to know what's out there and help people, and you enjoy doing it. There's our A, B, and C rides, a different riding. And if you do a B or C ride, we try not to drop anyone on those. The A riders, I can even lead an A rider, even though I'm not that fast, because they just take off. So I just have the maps and they can do what they want. Um, we do at the beginning of a ride, we try to introduce anyone new to all the members there. We try to either ride with them as a ride leader or have them ride with another member. Uh, we talk about safety. I'd like to say it says 2 C's, it's the 3 C's, which is courtesy, caution, and communication. You want to ride with courtesy, not only to other bikers, but to people walking on trails, and you want to be courteous to cars as well. Um, and you want to have caution, call out things. You want to communicate. You want to look for uh, potential safety hazards. Cars turning right while you're on a bike path and they're looking the other direction, looking left while you're coming from their right. You just got to be careful. So the 3 C's: courtesy, caution, communication. That's 3 things I like to say about safety. We want to be predictable when you're on the road. You want to follow the rules of the road. You don't want to do track stands at a stoplight. You want to actually stop and put your foot down so the cars know that you're not moving through the intersection. You want to communicate when you're riding on trails. Walkers can't hear bikes. Bikes are very quiet. If you're walking, you don't know bikes coming behind you. So it's so nice to just say on your left, and you'll get thank you back from the people when you pass them. Next slide, please. Here's some of our member highlights. We talked about some of this, but the only one on this page I want to mention is one of our members. It's unbelievable. He's ridden bicycles in all 7 continents. So you can think about that one. I can tell you more later. So let's go to the next slide. We have club logo items. Jerseys really helped our club when we first started out. 1999 was the first year we did a jersey for one hell of a ride. We also have other awards and incentive items. We did coffee cups for ride leaders one year. So different things like that. The logo, people like that. So next slide, please. Community outreach. We donate to the areas where we ride. We especially to like the cities of Chelsea, Dexter, and Ann Arbor. We provide bike racks in Chelsea. We provided bike racks in Dexter. We do helmet giveaways for children as part of different civic events. We participate in the Ann Arbor Police Department and the school's safety town and donate helmets there as well. We have donations to local churches and libraries, donations to cycling-related charities like Peak, which is helps disabled people ride bikes, Common Cycle, LMB, Border to Border Trail here in Ann Arbor. If you haven't been in Washington, we have a bike trail that's going to extend from the Wayne County border to I think it's the Jackson County and Livingston County borders. And let's go on to the next slide. Good. And other bike rides. Being a touring society, what we like to do is do a lot of different bike club rides and even commercial tour rides, like bike tour adventures or vacations. Dalmac, which I think next speaker is going to talk about, that's been one of our favorite rides to do as a club. And the long distance riders like to do that. When it started out, you had to do 400-mile rides. So our club would have organized rides here in Ann Arbor to prepare people to ride on these longer distance rides. Horsey 100 is one of our favorites down in Lexington, Kentucky. We have an organized ride that takes place on the Thursday and Friday before the Horsey 100 weekend on Saturday and Sunday. We've been doing that for many, many years. And so all these different rides, and we also do international rides. So being a touring club, some of our people joined the Bicycle Venture Club and other commercial rides that take them all over the world riding. So it's what we do and what we really enjoy. Next slide, please. The bicycle shops we've already talked about. Our bicycle shops here in the area support us during our one hell of a ride. Our Aberdeen Bike and Wheels in Motion are very good. We want people to support bike shops, and we want our members to shop locally when you can. Bike shops are very important to us. Next slide. And so future and rebuilding, our membership's down a little bit after COVID and our number of rides went down. Now we're building that back up. We want to attract, in our case, a 40-year-old group, but even a 20-year-old and 30-year-old group as well. We have a lot of retirees right now, but we're attracting more younger people as well. And that's what we're looking to do and build more into that group. We want to offer more evening rides. What's important if you want to get younger people is to have rides after work and rides on Saturday and Sunday. And so now, though, with people, a lot of people can work from home. So sometimes they can change their schedules and show up for a Friday morning ride with us as well. So that's an interesting thing that's come out of the new change in things since COVID. And again, I would like to see us have even more rides on our ride calendar and attract more people. I'd like to have a ride, maybe joining with one of the clubs in Detroit or something like that. That would be fun to have a combined ride with our two clubs. And I think the next slide, there is no next slide. We finished it. So thank you for allowing me to speak. And I think it's been a very, very good presentation from the other speakers.
Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate your time today. Our final speaker is going to be Pat Kelley from TCBA. Pat, just want to make sure you're ready to go.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Thank you. I want to thank Jim Blunt and LMB and Matt for hosting this. Very exciting to hear what's going on around Michigan. Again, my name is Pat Kelley. I'm the president of the Tri-County Bicycle Association. Initials are tcba.org for our website, biketcba.org. Our club started in 1972. We're probably one of the older clubs. Our motto is safe social cycling since 1972. Our club focuses a lot on the social aspects, like Marco talked about in cycling. The benefits are just outstanding to be with a group of people of like mind and doing like activities. Our club does 4 social events during the year, intentionally not bike related, but get together just so that people have a chance to see each other off the bike. They may, because we have a number of rides throughout the week, similar to Ann Arbor's club. We have a ride calendar and people may do rides on Tuesday, Thursday and not see the people on Monday, Wednesday. So the social events help connect our group together. Our club is unique, basically because of Delmac. TCBA is in the Lansing area. I like to call it LA. And we have put on Delmac since about I'm struggling with the year, 74, I think our club took over the entire running of Delmac. Delmac is an all-volunteer ride. It's the oldest all-volunteer ride in the country. And we're very proud of what Delmac has brought to riders, to Michigan, and the fact that also that we have the Delmac Fund, where the proceeds from Delmac, because it's all volunteer, everything returns back to TCBA and Delmac. We can provide the Delmac Fund, which has sponsored about $2 million back to a variety of Michigan trails, clubs, Boy Scouts. We've done a number of things, and we participate with the LMB Dollar Rider program. So Delmac is probably our mainstay tour, but we also offer 2 other tours, all volunteer. Northwest Tour that is in early June in the Traverse City area. It's 5 days of camping in one spot, and you have different routes every day, or you can not bike if you choose. Catered food, So you get breakfast and dinner every day, lunch on your own. And then we have Summer Tour, which is a similar event located in various spots around the state. Last year we were in the Thumb, 5 days in one spot, various routes, catered food. Same caterer does Northwest Tour and Summer Tour. And this year it's in the Muskegon area. Thinking it's White River Campground. That's about 200 riders, and it filled like in 4 hours, I think. It's a high demand tour, and it involves kids, families in particular. We have youth cycling, excuse me, group. That's the director is a 16-year-old, and she has a group out of Okemos High School and another group at East Lansing High School, club members, and trying to elicit young kids to ride in groups. And she has a summer camp that TCBA, our bike club, supports and sponsors, where they ride trails, and they have like 9 a.m. to noon every day with a bike ride and ice cream, and it's on the river trail in the Lansing area, so it's very safe for young kids. We also offer a 1-day event, Janine Reynolds Joyride, that's available on our ride calendar. And our membership is very cheap because Delmac helps support our club. I think it's $18 a year for a single person, and if you buy multiple years, it's less. Family membership is about $22. We have currently about 1,000 members, but not everyone is in the Lansing area. Some people have joined because you get early registration opportunities, some years for Delmac and for our other tours. So we offer ride incentives. If you ride with our club, 5 different club rides, you get a ride incentive worth about $20. So if you paid $18 for your membership and got out 5 times, you get a $20 item, and it changes every year what it is. We try to do safety items when we can, and certainly cycle related items. If you ride more miles, you get higher level ride incentives. Top incentive is you have to ride 2,024 miles this year with the club, and you'll get a ride incentive worth about $80. Sometimes that's a club jersey, sometimes it's merino wool. We got jackets and radar. Last 2 years ago, I think. We got radar units that you could upgrade with a light if you wanted. We really focus on safety because we believe riding in groups is significant and much safer than riding alone. So we try to get people to join the club and join our rides, and you don't have to be a member to ride with us. We encourage anyone to come out, and then we'll talk about the benefits. We introduce people that are new to the club riders that are there. Recently, we had a ride on the river trail, and a person came who just became a member, and we introduced her, and we rode with her during our ride and made sure she was comfortable and communicate the 3 C's. We try to make sure that we get our members to be safe, courteous riders. We believe that's very, very important. People find us because of Delmac and some of our other rides, but also from local shops. Like Ted was talking about, we try to work with our local shops and have people go to those shops to get services and buy their bikes. I think the thing that is the most outstanding, the thing that I'm most proud of as the president, is the volunteerism that our members provide to our tours, and Delmac has over 120 volunteers, and so Delmac is it's an undertaking. 5 days. We have a number of routes. I won't go into the detail. I don't want to bore you, but you can find all that on our website, biketcba.org. We have social media platform for Delmac and for TCBA. And I don't know. I think I've covered all of the questions. Matt, did I miss any?
I think you've done great, Pat. I think that's the bulk of it.
Okay.
One question we had come in on the chat that you and Dan and Ted and Marco all address. What's the best strategy to attract a younger demographic? And I think Dan mentioned some of that with the evening rides for folks who are working a 9 to 5 and weekend rides. And I guess I would also frame that question in a slightly different way too, is what are you hearing from younger folks about what they want from your club or shop?
I'll start because I'm still unmuted.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Our youth cycling club that has really attracted a large number of young kids, and they the more the young kids are together and other kids see them, I think that draws in more activity and more energy. I don't see the young kids on many of our typical rides, but I do see that there's more family rides set up intentionally. The same class ride speed A through D we have. The D rides are more of the family rides on the river trail and that kind of thing, which helps bring in the family aspect and getting younger kids exposed to biking through their parents and through the other youth cycling kids. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Ted, do you want to take a shot at that one too?
Well, I was just going to add a note. We've seen a massive uptick in the past 2 years of kids bikes being sold, and I would say the demographics like really little, so maybe not quite group ride level, and a big kind of resurgence into parents commuting with their kids. So mini bike buses, riding with their kids on the back of the cargo bikes. I think e-bikes have had a lot to do with the accessibility of bringing, if not multiple kids, to and from school, daycare, things like that. And because of that, we actually plan on hosting a like family, essentially info session here on how to safely navigate city streets and tricky intersections and things with your kids, either on the bike or riding with you. Because the biggest feedback we seem to get is just traffic's scary. How do you train your kid properly? We are very fortunate here in Ferndale. They do have a really awesome safety town, essentially a dedicated parking lot with fun painted diagrams and pretend bike lanes and stop signs and things, which is a great resource. But we are seeing a very young generation starting to kind of see bikes as a way of getting outside, some freedom and things like that, which we're really excited about. I also saw in the comments that someone mentioned MISCA, which is an amazing organization. And if you ever go out to Tree Farm on a Tuesday, you want to see make you feel good about the future of this industry and riding. You can see about 50 high school kids ripping through the woods, which is really fun to watch. So MISCA is an awesome organization.
I will also note in Lansing, there's an annual event called Bike and Seek. That's like a series of clues, and you bike to the next clue and then figure out where you have to go next. And it's a great family-friendly, fun activity that is put on by Lansing Bike Party every year. Dan, would you like to?
Well, one of the questions also about this was saying that sometimes younger generations like gravel rides better than paths or paved, and we do have 4 gravel rides, and I think our demographic is a little bit younger longer on those rides, but maybe we need to do more to attract people with that. I know on our event ride, the gravel rides are starting to take off and do well. So that's another option for us. We do have some younger people in the club now, and of course we thought that would be great. We could get them to do some of this volunteer work, but now they're raising families and having children, and when they're very first in their 20s, they're busy with the young family, and then when they're in their 30s, they're busy with kids in junior high and high school. So in the past, we attracted folks like that, so that was good. So we're working on it, but yeah, I'm listening for more ideas as well. But the biggest thing I think right now would be to have rides in the evening that people can achieve or attend that are working, and also they have some good rides on the weekends as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Dan. Marco, did you want to contribute?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I've been taking a listening tour, visiting numerous youth organizations, and numerous have reached out to me. And I've asked a question, various questions, ranging from, do you own a bike? What was your experience? If you were given a bike, would you ride it? Where would you like to ride it? What surface? And I've gotten a lot of feedback, and I've been involved with another organization that's donating bikes. And so far here in Detroit, I would say exposure is the biggest key. Seeing that cycling is structured, it's a vehicle as well as an exercise device. I get a sense, and I don't want to generalize, but that it may be viewed as a toy. And that limits the perceptions of it. But when I introduce information and discuss Major Taylor and how he started as a kid and what it did for him, the reaction is phenomenal. It's overwhelming. I mean, they're lining up for free bikes. And the next stage I'm going to embark upon is potentially, I have a meeting this week with a youth organization that wants to create a youth organization completely solely dedicated to cycling here. So I'm excited about that, looking forward to it and where that goes.
Great. Thank you. I guess one question I could ask. Oh, Ted, do you have?
Actually, yeah, if I could add real quick, we also work a lot with Free Bikes for Kids, which is a national nonprofit. And they're growing very quickly in Detroit. I know last year, I think they gave away like 3,200 bikes. But years past, they almost reached 4,000. And every single year, they have to turn down organizations and kids because they just can't get enough donations. So if you see anything from them, please support them because they're an amazing group and they do a lot. I also know that we worked with them just a little while ago with an organization called Kids Connections with K. They work through DPS, the public school system in Detroit. And we did like a build a bike like workshop with some of their club members. And it was Central High School was where we were at, and gave away 20 bikes, and all the kids were super pumped. They were local. They could ride to and from school. We even took the time to show them safe routes to and from school. And that was really awesome to see them kind of understanding that cycling can be used more as transportation and a tool than, like Marco said. I feel like a lot of people just see them as toys, ride around, throw it away. Don't have to really think about how useful cycling can be, not only as a transportation, but as, mental health and fitness and all sorts of stuff. So the Kids Connection was a very cool program. We hope to do it several more times.
Very cool. Thank you. I was going to ask from folks, what would you like to see LMB do to support you in reaching new folks, in encouraging people to ride more often, and to see bicycles as a meaningful piece of the transportation system, and not just as toys?
I guess I'll start that one.
Sure.
This is something I have thought about for essentially my whole career. America just thinks bikes are toys as a whole, right? Like we don't have the European mindset that they can be used as tools. As more of an urban shop, we see a much larger population using bicycles as transportation. I also come from the nonprofit bike side as well. I worked with several different groups in Detroit, and seeing people that have to rely on bicycles as transportation is very eye-opening when someone chooses to use bicycles as transportation. We don't have great weather all the time. We have horrible roads, not good bike infrastructure. The bike infrastructure that is being implemented is not thought out and is not safe, and very confusing for most people because there's not tons of information getting to the people that truly need it. I guarantee you no one that I worked with in those organizations is on this Zoom call, right? Like they're not listening on their laptop in the middle of the day. So really thinking about and trying to change the mindset that bicycles are toys. Even the Detroit City Council thinks bicycles are toys. And there is a tourism component to how bike lanes are set up in the riverfront and the Quinder Cut and things like that. But, as my experience as a shop owner, we see a dire need for more infrastructure for true transportation. E-bikes are definitely not at a price level that is accessible to everyone by any means. But with e-bikes becoming more and more popular, it adds an entire layer of where they're at, what they can do, how fast they go, and how that works with the transportation side of everything. So it's a very tricky, long conversation, but it needs to be had. And I think the state of Michigan needs to enact some regulations quickly on where these lanes and these e-bikes can be allowed. So
sure. I'll note a few quick things. We were successful last year in getting a new grant program in the budget, the Shared Streets and Spaces grant program. And that's $3.5 million, and it's just opened up for applications. So cities and transit agencies in Michigan are eligible to apply for up to $200,000 from this pool of money that is being provided through MDOT. And we're super happy to see that. It's not enough, but it's a solid start. And also we have seen the Lansing Board of Water and Light start offering e-bike incentives. It's often seemed a little crazy that you can get $7,500 from the federal government to buy an electric car, but if you would rather use an e-bike to get around, they're not going to provide anything. Lansing Board of Water and Light has an e-bike incentive program active now, and we've talked with DTE and Consumers Energy. They're a little more tightly regulated, but they have expressed strong interest, and they're looking into being able to offer those as well. Craig, you have a question.
Yeah, Matt, I just wanted to appreciate your this venue and topic. It's very super interesting. But I would say, I guess, to build on the previous comments of infrastructure and ultimately speaking from Livingston County, Livingston County has 0 feet of any bike lanes, so we have none. So we have nowhere to go but up. But I think the issue is infrastructure and protected bike lanes. Painting bike lanes historically is irrelevant, but a protected bike lane or a pathway, I think we do have some benefit, like the Mike Levine Trail and some of these rail trails. If some of these rail trails could become connected safely, they're going to have potential, commuting corridors. But I don't see that effort of making these final connections. The transition. So that's all I wanted to add, but thank you. It's a great venue.
Thank you. Well, we're at 12:55. Any other presenters want to add a note? Pat, go ahead.
Just real quick. I want to know how all these places that were presented today can work better with LMB to continue the efforts that LMB is doing. And also wanted to say that our group, TCBA, has a very strong advocacy group, and we work very hard with the city of Lansing and MDOT and try to influence their decisions before they get implemented, so that we've had input. There's some J turns on 127 North that we tried to impact. At any rate, we've had our issues doing that, but we do have a strong group and a strong voice now, which is very helpful in working with the planning prior to implementing. So that may be something that Craig and Livingston County may be able to get a hold of planning commissions or whatever organization, the road commission even, when they do road reconstructions to get impact. Anyway, that was it. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Pat. That reminds me that I should mention Bicycle and Trail Advocacy Day coming up on May 14th. And folks who are interested in advocacy, we would strongly encourage you to join us in Lansing and meet with your elected officials to express to them the importance of investing in bike infrastructure. Other presenters who'd like to add a note before we close up?
I was just thinking e-bikes are really the wave. You're going to see so many more people on e-bikes. And one of the problems I see when there's a lot of e-bikes, there's one, they're not really serious bicyclists and they need some training. I would like to see hang cards on new e-bikes just saying basic rules of the road. One, more often than not, you'll see people in Florida where we went in the winter on these bike trails. Regular bikes, people have helmets on. The e-bikes who are going faster and doing more dangerous things don't even wear a helmet. So in the least, we should try to do some outreach because it's going to hit fast and you'll have bike trails. What happened in Florida, the bike trails are very popular, but they didn't think about it, and not just class 1 bikes, but everything now, any speed, any scooter or anything can go. They just gave up on trying to say no motorized vehicles because they couldn't deal with how they handle e-bikes. So if we could do something in Michigan ahead of the curve, maybe to encourage more outreach to new e-bike owners and also outreach to the infrastructure developers to say, well, think about what you want. Do you want just class 1 or do you want to allow golf carts on these trails, or where do you draw the line? And that's not an easy decision either, but
Yeah.
LMB might have an opportunity there to influence some things.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, folks. I really appreciate all your time today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd like to give a final thanks to Pat Kelley from TCBA, Dan Harrison from Ann Arbor Bicycle Touring Society, Marco Speeks from Major Taylor Detroit, Metro 313 Cyclones, and Ted Sliwinski from Metropolis Cycles. Thank you all. Round of applause for sharing your insights and knowledge with us. Thank you all for attending this episode of the Spoken Speaker series. Our next episode will be next Wednesday at noon, and I hope you all can join us for that. We will